What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we are going to be having a look at positions that Manchester City are going to look to strengthen in the upcoming transfer window, and also I'm going to put down some potential names that City could look at to potentially sign to fill them positions, and I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible, going off who Manchester City have already been linked with, who've been linked with in the past, and where Manchester City might send their interest, and try and generate a bit of interest that way. But before we crack on with this video, like always, if you are enjoying the content and you want to help support my channel, then please subscribe, press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on, aiming for 6,000 subscribers. So any help towards that would be much appreciated. You can find my social media links in the description below and popping up on screen if you want to go and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My email also in the description below too, if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget also, leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And also, I had a look at 10 players that Manchester City could potentially sign in the upcoming summer transfer window. So if you want to go and check that video out, the link to that is at the end of the video if you want to go and click on it, or just go on my channel and go and check out my last video upload. So we're going to crack on with this video, and we're first up going to have a look at centre-backs that Manchester City could well strengthen. Now, rumours are going around that City are looking for one top-class centre-back and potentially a younger centre-back, so two centre-backs in the summer, a younger, more unproven centre-back where Manchester City could sign and try and bring them in, which I'm going to presume is going to act as more of a rotated option for Manchester City rather than a first-team starter. So it sounds like we're trying to get a Laporte partner, a partner for Aymeric Laporte, and also a player that's going to act as a bit of rotation for Manchester City, which could well be homegrown should John Stones leave Manchester City. So the players that I've had a look at, the first up is Milan Skriniar, who featured in my last video. He's a 25-year-old centre-back for Inter Milan. Apparently, he's available for roughly around £80 million, give or take £5 or £10 million either way. You could pick him up for as little as £75 million. He could cost as much as £90 million. So I went slap bang in the middle, and City are looking at, if they wanted to spend a lot of money and go for a proven centre-back, then Milan Skriniar could well be that player. Other alternatives that City could look at could be Kalidou Koulibaly, the 28-year-old centre-back from Napoli. He would be expensive, though, for Manchester City to try and sign. There were rumours going around that he'd be available for less than £70 million, which aren't to be believed. I reckon Napoli, with lots of interest out there for Koulibaly, even from Real Madrid, I reckon they'll be looking for at least £90 to £100 million, maybe even more, which is an option for Manchester City if he's cheap enough, but I'm not too sure if I see City going down that avenue. I think that's a bit unrealistic. And another player that we have been linked with in the past is Caglar Soyuncu, the 23-year-old centre-back from Leicester City, who's got a year's worth of Premier League experience under his belt now, but he is going to be expensive should City want to sign him. I think he's a good prospect for Manchester City, but personally I don't see City paying all that money. And if I'm completely honest, like I put Milan Skriniar right at the top, like if City are going to want to spend a lot of money to bring in a proven player, 25-year-old Milan Skriniar would be a good way to, we could easily get 8 or 9 years service out of him for that price. And he is a fantastic player, a proven player in Serie A, who's also got plenty of European experience under his belt too. Yeah, I like the sound of Skriniar, if I'm honest. I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, having a look at some of the more unproven players that Manchester City could go after. First player, Ruben Dias, is one player that we've been linked with. He's a 22-year-old centre-back, from Benfica. Apparently, he's available for £87 million. That should City maybe sign a cheaper alternative for their first team, maybe Ruben Dias could be another player that they could promote to be a first team player, but he's a young player, 22 years old. I think the only thing that puts us off is £87 million, but if Benfica were to budge on their release clause, he may become an option for Manchester City. Another player, a more realistic player, is Dayot Upamecano, 21-year-old. He's available apparently for roughly just over, and I mean just over, £50 million. He plays for Red Bull Leipzig. There is lots of interest, including Arsenal, and I say this confidently, that should City want to sign Upamecano, that he'd want to pick Manchester City over Arsenal, because we're in a position where we can pay more money. That's not the only option. We've got European football potentially, but Arsenal more than likely may not have European football next season. So if you just to weigh up the two options, would you rather go to Arsenal, who's got a big rebuild project, or would you rather go to Manchester City? If City were to guarantee him first team football, I imagine City would be more appealing for him, and with City needing centre backs, I imagine that would. So I'd be confident, should City want Upamecano, that we could sign him. It's all about if we do or not. And another player that we have been linked with is Nathan Ake. He's 25 years old, from Bournemouth, roughly available for, I reckon, around £40 million, give or take £5 million either way. And he is a homegrown player that, should John Stones leave and City want to have a bit of cover, and also a bit of cover for Aymeric Laporte, he picked up a serious injury, of course. It'd be nice to have a player that could just nicely slot into our team, and honestly, Nathan Ake, being homegrown, would be an ideal player to go and do that. And so it is an outside opportunity there for City to possibly bring a player in. Now let's move on and look at another position, right back position. João Cancelo's future has been called into question. City apparently looking for a swap deal with Nelson Semedo. He's a 26-year-old right back from Barcelona, who's apparently available, if we don't want to do the swap, for around £40 million. Barcelona at this moment in time are insistent that if they're going to swap Cancelo for Semedo, that they also want some money, so they're valuing Cancelo at less than £40 million. I hope City, if this is the avenue we're going to go around, I'd roughly value Cancelo at give or take a few £1 million, around £40 million, and I think that it should just be a straight swap rather than involving any money either way. I'd be happy for that transfer if both players were happy to do that, but I like Cancelo. I think he's a good player, and I'm more than happy for him to stay at Manchester City. But if he does leave and Semedo goes somewhere else and Barcelona choose to sign Cancelo, for example, and they are interested, then City may have a look at other right backs. Other right backs include players like Ricardo Pereira, the 26-year-old player from Leicester City that we've been linked with in the past, and he has had an outstanding season for Leicester City, so he'd come with a big fee, but he's proven in the Premier League, and he is a really good player, and I think he'd suit Manchester City's system. He's an all-round solid player that if City wanted to spend some money, he'd be a good player to bring in. Another player, if we didn't want to spend some money, would be Thomas Meunier, 28 years old, plays for Paris Saint-Germain, available for a free contract this summer. Was reported apparently that he was going to sign for Borussia Dortmund in the summer. However, recently it was being reported that Spurs were interested in bringing him in, so that isn't all signed and sealed just yet. That perhaps City, if they wanted to have a cheaper alternative there, could be an option for a proven class right back in Meunier. So yeah, there's another option. Now looking at left backs, and I'm expecting City to be targeting left backs in the summer. One player we've been linked with quite heavily over the last few weeks is David Alaba, 27 years old. He's going to be 28 this summer, currently playing for Bayern Munich. In my opinion, he's going to be a very expensive transfer to get done, and if City don't want to budge on their price tag of Leroy Sané, and we know Bayern Munich definitely want Leroy Sané, perhaps there could be a bit of leeway there involving a swap deal. Apparently, sources from Germany are reporting that Munich could budge on this, and Manchester City could get this done. Problem was, would David Alaba want to leave Bayern Munich to come and join Manchester City? I'm not too sure. He's worked with Pep Guardiola before, and David Alaba did excel under Pep Guardiola, so I can't imagine why he wouldn't want to come to Man City, but it might just be a case of he's settled at Bayern Munich, happy at Bayern Munich, and wants to stay at Bayern Munich, and if that's the case, City are going to have to look elsewhere. Other players that's been linked with Manchester City at this moment in time are two quite realistic transfers. The first, Ben Chilwell, the 23-year-old left back from Leicester City. Apparently he's available for around £60 million, and some big Premier League clubs now are sniffing around him. I imagine Manchester United would be interested, because they're always interested in players that are linked with Manchester City too. 23 years old, homegrown, is a good player. Would be an option for Manchester City to go behind, and he's also a Premier League experienced player too. Another player that's been linked with City, the right age, 22-year-old Theo Hernandez, the brother of Lucas Hernandez at Bayern Munich. He is a left back, plays for AC Milan. Lots of interest around Europe. He's available for apparently around £50 million, which again would be in the price range that City have paid in the past for full-backs, and so it would fall into that category, and so he could well be another option for Manchester City to go and sign. Now, moving on to midfield, David Silva leaving. I would like Manchester City to use this as the moment for Phil Foden to get more minutes, but we are being linked with central midfielders, so I have to talk about it in this video. Now, probably the most doable transfer on this, well, of all the players that's being linked on this video, comes in the form of Houssem Aouar, the 21-year-old who's going to be 22 this summer. He is a defensive midfielder predominantly, but he can play as the second man in midfield. He can even play further forward in the top end of the front three that Manchester City like to play in midfield. I'm talking the David Silva role here. He can play all across midfield. He's versatile. He's a good player too. Good solid options. Got a good tackle on him too. And apparently available for only £45 million. Currently playing for Lyon. We've seen him play against us before. And he'd be a good solid all-round option for Manchester City to get done. It's one of those though that if City do want to sign him, they're going to have to make their minds up relatively quickly, because with that price, I imagine other clubs will come sniffing to try and sign him from all around Europe. He has previously been linked with Juventus too. Another player that we've been linked with recently is Fabian Ruiz, the 24-year-old player from Napoli. Apparently he's available for £69 million, and it would be a player that Manchester City would be interested in. I just don't see us this summer spending near £70 million on a position that isn't a necessity for Manchester City. It's an option, but I just don't see us pursuing that, or at least not at this moment in time in the at the beginning of the transfer window near enough. And another player that's always getting linked with Manchester City is Isco. Yes, I ran out of players that were being linked with Man City because we're not getting linked with too many central midfielders, which tells you all you need to know about how much interest City have got in that position. He's a 28-year-old midfielder from Real Madrid. Falling down the pecking order, would be a realistic transfer for City to get done. However, he would, I imagine Real Madrid will want a lot of money for him, and so it'd be quite a difficult transfer to get done. But I think that now makes him like the 17th consecutive transfer window, something crazy like that. Isco's being linked with Manchester City. I'm just pulling out that number. I'm lying, by the way. I don't know how many windows it is, but he seems to get linked with Man City every single window, and so this transfer window, is going to be no different. Now, wingers, they've been getting linked with Manchester City, with Leroy Sané probably, more than likely, going to be leaving Manchester City. We do need a winger, and the player that's probably most realistic here is Mikel Oyarzabal, the 23-year-old Real Sociedad winger. He's available for his release clause, which is €60 million, which is very doable for Manchester City. I've said before in previous videos, I have concerns over his pace and being able to compete at Manchester City in the Premier League, because well, you need a lot of pace in the Premier League. You need to be able to stretch the pitch. If you've not got that, you need to have skill, and considering there's interest from other big clubs in Europe, including Barcelona and Oyarzabal, I'm going to presume he is a good quality player. With us losing Leroy Sané's pace, so I imagine we'll be going for quicker players. But for €60 million, it's a very doable transfer here for Manchester City if we wanted to just bring in a player to literally like for like replace Leroy Sané without the pace. So yeah, another player we've been getting linked with in previous windows is Leon Bailey. Now he is quicker. He's 22 years old at this moment in time, will be 23 in August, currently playing for Bayer Leverkusen. I had a look at the price tag he was getting linked with. I think I remember seeing £18+ million, expensive, really expensive, but a great quality player who is good friends with Raheem Sterling, so I imagine won't have any problems settling in at Manchester City. And like I said, if City wanted to go and splash the cash, and trust me, this window, I'm near certain that City are going to have to break their transfer record to bring in players. They're going to have to kind of break away from their strategy of being stingy, shall I say, and if other clubs are being interested in players, we're going to have to start paying a little bit more money to be able to bring in players. But we're at a point now where we're playing catch up to Liverpool. We know how good Liverpool are. Our players have hit the top level now. We're seeing the season of decline, so we're going to need to top that up and bring in more quality. And if you want quality, you have to pay a lot of money for that, and so it needs to be carefully managed by Manchester City. Another winger that we've been getting linked with is Jadon Sancho, 20 years old, plays for Borussia Dortmund, homegrown of course, not just in England but also by Manchester City, always a bonus. However, he's apparently available for roughly near or about £100 million, and I just don't see City paying that. There have been questions, of course, over his attitude. He left Manchester City once, and I don't see us going back into the market. I imagine City being a bit, not so much stingy, but I see City as being more, what's the word I'm looking for? I see City just being stubborn here and saying he's played for Man City, he's had his chance once, we don't want to sign him again. And if I'm completely honest, I'm fully expecting Jadon Sancho to be playing his football at the other end of Manchester. Some will say Salford, at Old Trafford instead for Manchester United, but it is what it is, and if City wanted to, they could sign him, but I just don't see it. Now, this is unrealistic, but strikers, City have been spoken about bringing in strikers because, well, basically Sergio Aguero is nearing the end of his contract now. City may look for their long-term alternative to Sergio Aguero, and this all came about because Lautaro Martinez was available from Inter Milan for roughly around £100 million, 22 years old, 23 in August. He plays for Inter Milan. He's apparently available for transfer. Barcelona are extremely interested, but they don't want to pay that much money. Their way they're seeing it is it's either Martinez that they bring in this summer or Neymar, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But if they choose to go for Neymar, which is who Lionel Messi wants, and trust me, they have a lot of player power at Barcelona, if they end up going for him and they've not got enough money to bring in Martinez, then he could be an option for City in the long term. 22 years old, just 23 in August, for a long-term replacement for Sergio Aguero, and also Argentinian, and would also have both of them at City for at least a season. So yeah, it could be in that crazy situation. I don't know what that leaves Gabriel Jesus. We could maybe try and make Gabriel Jesus more versatile and move him out wide and not bring in a winger if we're going to bring in a striker. I do not know, but that's what City are being linked with. We've also been linked with Harry Kane, 26 years old, plays for Tottenham. He'll be really expensive. I've heard like near £200 million, and that's just not an option. I just don't see City doing that. That's PSG, that's Real Madrid, that's something they do. Maybe Barcelona, I just don't see City doing that. And another player that we've been linked with, and it's quite interesting, is Erling Braut Haaland, 19 years old, is going to be 20 this summer, plays for Borussia Dortmund. He's going to be very expensive when Borussia Dortmund do want to sell, but he's got Raiola involved, and that means Manchester City will not be involved. But if he was to bring in another agent instead, then I could see City maybe going down that route. He's a very quick, very clinical attacking player that would suit the Premier League, and he would suit Manchester City. But with Raiola being involved and the price involved, I just don't see City being involved. But City's name always going to be out there for top class players, and that's just how it is. So there we go, that has been the video. Hope you enjoyed the video. It was a video request. If you've got any more video requests for me, just let me know in the comments below. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. You can also find my social media links in the description below and popping up on screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget also you can find my email in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below this video and the players getting linked with Manchester City. Are there any players this summer that you want Manchester City to sign? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all again for the next video, which will be a transfer update, which will be up over the next couple of days or so. So I'll see you all then. Yeah, lockdown's still going on. We've not got football coming back anytime soon, so going along with the transfers and getting stuff out there. So plenty of content to come and to look forward to. So I'll see you all again for the next video. So I've been JSGC. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and you are all staying safe, and I hope you are all well. Peace. Ciao for now.